Welcome to our first council meeting of the year 2021. At this time, we will come to order and we will have our invocation followed by our pledge of allegiance. Of the heavens and the earth, we thank you for this beautiful day. We thank you for another opportunity to come together to serve this great city of Florence, South Carolina. We ask that you be present in this meeting, that you would lead us and guide us with all your wisdom and your knowledge, that all that we may do will be for the betterment of this city, that this city may be a better neighbor to all that surrounds us and throughout this nation. You're welcome into this meeting, and we do ask for grace and mercy for all those who have been affected by COVID-19 through illnesses, even through death. We ask for guidance as we continue to work our way through this pandemic. Please lead us, that we will do what's best for each other, that we will be a good neighbor. Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America,
To the republic, for which it
which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
say that little lag there, something else when you're hearing it. Council members, we have before us our minutes from our December the 14th regular meeting. Will you please review? And if there's no necessary corrections, we will entertain a motion.
So move.
We have a second.
Second.
It is the properly motion by Pat Gibson High Moore, second by Councilman McCall, that we receive the minutes. Are you ready for the question? The rejection, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Records reflect that we have approved the minutes from December the 14th, 2020. At this time, we're ready to proceed into the ordinance and positions. Our first bill is bill number 2020-442 for second reading. It's an ordinance to annex in zone 15 acres on West Sumter Street and Pisco Road, identified as a portion of Florence County tax map parcel number 00097-01-008.
Move to approve.
Second.
Is properly motion by Councilman Mayor Pro Tem Jabala and second by Councilwoman Pat Gibson High Moore. Are any discussion? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed? Let it reflect that the bill has passed unanimously. Up for our next reading is bill number 2020-43 for second reading. It's an ordinance to grant an easement on a portion of Florence County tax map parcel 00102-01-161 to Duke Energy Progress LLC, specifically 15 feet wide along the northernmost property line fronting Alligator Road.
So move.
Second.
It's been motioned by Councilwoman Pat Gibson High Moore and seconded by Councilwoman Barnes. Any discussion? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Let the records reflect that bill number 2020-43 passed unanimously. We're now ready to enter into the introduction of ordinance for the first reading. We have bill number 2021-01 for the first reading, an ordinance to adopt a model bill license or in accordance with the business license bill number H4431 passed by the South Carolina legislature in September 2020. But please note that the staff has asked that we defer this item for the date to have more information. Item will be deferred. Next, we have bill number 2021-02 for first reading. It's an ordinance to annex 4 parcels located at 1534 and 1537, 1539, and 1543 North Sierra Range, and
Move to approve.
and identified tax map parcel 90096-02-005, 90096-01-008, 90096-01-017, and 90096-01-009. It has been motioned by Mayor Pro Tem Bailey. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
It has been seconded by Councilwoman Barnes and Pat Gibson Highmore. At this time, we can receive information from Mr. Jerry Dudley.
Thank you, Mayor. These are 4 lots that are located in the proximity of North Irby Street. They're in the Spalding Heights neighborhood. The existing zoning surrounding the property is currently NC 6.1, and that is also the requested zoning, so it is in agreement with the current zoning. The future land use for these 4 parcels is neighborhood conservation. And each lot is the site of a single family residence. Water and sewer is available to this location, so there's no cost to extend that. And Planning Commission did recommend unanimously in agreement of the zoning. And this concludes staff's report.
Is there any discussion? If not, you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Let the records reflect that bill number 2021-02 passed unanimously. Next, we are ready for introduction of our resolutions. Our first resolution is resolution number 2021-01. And as you may know, that since last year, we've had a resolution in reference to the emergency use of our masks. And resolution number 2021-0-1 is a resolution pursuant to section 1, 2, and 3 of ordinance number 2020-28 to extend the emergency terms and
So move.
of the ordinance by additional 60 days. It has been emphatically motioned by Councilwoman Pat Gibson Highmore that we have this ordinance. Do we have a second?
Second.
It is a second by Councilman McCall. Is there any discussion?
If businesses or they are not wearing, what is the repercussion?
Now, city manager will speak to that.
The mask ordinance is enforced very similar to our smoking ordinance. It's complaint driven. So if a complaint is received, we will send code enforcement officers out to educate. We like to take an educational approach prior to enforcement, although enforcement is on the table if needed. So we would send a code enforcement officer out to investigate the complaint.
And after, if they don't comply? Is it a fine or what happens?
There's a fine, there's an administrative fine associated with the ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? And I do want to reflect that sometimes there's been some concerns about certain businesses, but I do also want to make sure the general public knows that when you're in the city of Florence, depending on which area you're in, you actually will find yourself in the cities, in areas, and ride right out the city into the county, then ride back into the city again. So some of what you're seeing too is that mixture of city and county together. And I love to say that donut hole effect. Is there any other discussion?
Now, let it be known that if I'm in the city of Florence and I go into a business and that I've gone into frequently, and I keep seeing the same thing, people without masks, I am going to report it. And I will call law enforcement because it's for our safety as well as theirs. So I just want everybody to know that I will be one that will help try to enforce this.
Well, I do have another one.
Yes.
Businesses that are non-compliant. Do we have someone that goes and, well, the officer would warn them, But letting them know that they could possibly be fined if they don't comply.
Absolutely. Now, businesses, and I'm going to pull this off of memory here, and Jim Peterson or our police chief can help me. Businesses, I believe, are only required to post the requirement for a mask on their entryway and to ensure that their employees do it. They are not responsible for enforcing customers to wear the mask.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? And I will just add, being in the medical profession myself, I do encourage you to wear masks regardless. You may be familiar with the state of California now is in emergency situation where you're having to determine who can receive certain levels of care. Understand, I was told people there's been a nursing shortage since I was in nursing school, and y'all, that was in the 80s. So that has only gotten worse. We have nurses who have retired, nurses who've literally got burned out and quit. We're losing people in the medical profession to the pandemic. So you will see a lot of time the medical professionals are asking everyone, simply wear a mask. Understand that you cannot tell who has COVID-19 just by looking at them. You can walk around and be as healthy as the day is long and be what we call a carrier, meaning that you look well, but you're spreading COVID-19 to everyone you come in contact and stand there and talk to a long time. Sad thing about it, there are people who've contracted COVID-19 who've done everything they could, but somehow another still came into exposure. So we do not want to be in a place here in Florence that we have to start looking at what is your chance of surviving COVID-19. If it looked like you're not going to make it, will the medical profession have to decide whether or not you can have the opportunity to be placed on a ventilator? So we have a choice to do what we call in medicine preventative care. That means your best bet is to prevent yourself and your loved ones from getting COVID-19. This is not a political statement. This is a healthcare issue that is literally killing us. And since we've started this meeting, several people in our nation has already died. And if you've never taken care of a person who's suffering from COVID-19 or died from it, no, you don't understand. But when you're in the medical profession, you're in what we call a COVID unit, and you're dealing with constant death throughout the week, you would wear a mask. And if you don't do it for yourself, do it for the healthcare professionals who's dealing with this every day. Help us out by helping yourself and your neighbor. And that's all that I have to state. And if there's no other discussion, are you ready for?
No, I do, Ms. Mayor, Madam Mayor. There is an organization coming from New York and California in our communities to start testing these underserved, because a lot of times homeless and underserved can't get to the airport, or maybe can't get over to DHEC or other locations that's testing. So we plan to go to them in the different communities, North Florence, Northwest, East Florence, and the homeless shelters, to try and make sure that we help in whatever way possible to bring this pandemic under control in our communities, because it's important. As the mayor just stated, people are dying every day. And if you notice, the numbers are going up instead of down. So let's all do what we can to help get this pandemic, this COVID-19 under control.
Thank you.
If anyone wants to be a part of that group to help us out, bring people in, they're going to supply everything we need, the testing, the laptops, everything we need, the masks to do it. But we do need volunteers to help with some of the things that may go on at the different sites.
Thank you, Councilwoman. There's no further discussion. It has been properly motioned and seconded that resolution number 2021-01. So are you ready for the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Let the records reflect unanimously that resolution 2021-01 has passed. Next, we have resolution number 2021-02, a resolution designed to designate an additional third day for Christmas as an official holiday for the city of Florence.
Ma- Madam Mayor, not only do I move to approve this, but I would also like to make a motion that we rename this the Edward Robinson resolution in honor of our dear friend who has passed, Councilman Ed Robinson, who every year brought this up and brought this to the attention. And this was something that was near and dear to his heart. And so I would ask that we rename this the Councilman Ed Robinson resolution so that this becomes an official holiday for the city of Florence.
Before we thank you, Councilman Jabala, but before we entered into that motion, I did want to state that everyone will be familiar with the mere fact that with the city, we do have the Christmas holiday, but what has happened, there's been times when the Christmas holiday may fall on a weekend. And in order to give the staff member that third day, especially help with travel, this is why this resolution has come to par. And as stated in the past, Councilman Ed Robinson usually did make sure that this was placed before the council. But last year, it was taken under study that we thought the council would have this made permanently. But due to various reasons, it was not until last month in November that we realized that this resolution, this date has not been made permanent. So the purpose of this resolution at this time is to make that third day a permanent holiday. So every year the council won't have to go back and vote on it again. And now, so the first list taking part that Mayor Pro Tem, you want to amend this resolution? Mayor Pro Tem?
The naming of it and just have it be the resolution number 2021-02, the Councilman Ed Robinson Christmas holiday resolution. Yes.
So resolution number 2021-02 is a motion to have the resolution designated the third day for Christmas,
I second.
the holiday of the city of Florence, thereby known as Ed Robinson.
The Councilman Ed Robinson Christmas holiday resolution. That is correct.
The Councilman
I'll second it.
Christmas holiday. And yeah, I just want to be sure that we stated that for the records. So it's been motion and second that we amend, and the resolution 2021 will reflect the naming of the Ed Robinson Christmas holiday.
The Councilman Ed Robinson. That's correct.
Yes. Is there any further discussion? If you're ready for the question, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And
Aye.
nay. Let the records reflect that resolution number 2021-02 has passed unanimously. Now we're ready to enter into the portion for reports to the council for appointments to boards and commissions. We'll hear from Deputy City Manager Scotty Davis.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Today we have one vacancy on the Planning Commission. That vacancy is due to a resignation on that board. That vacancy falls to Mayor Pro Tem Jabali. We do have 4 applicants for the open position: Shalonda Dees, Maya Green, Derek Lowe, and Lillian Walker.
I'll defer.
Mayor Pro Tem Jabala is deferring that appointment. That concludes our reports on our board and commission. At this time, we can prepare to go into our executive session. And our executive session will be for the purpose of receiving legal advice and also the purpose of discussing, and that legal advice will be 30-4-70A2, and discussion related to a personnel matter, 30-470A1. Do we have a motion? Second.
So move.
Question, no objection. We can prepare to enter into executive session. We're back from executive session, and we did receive information in reference to a legal advice information, which requires no action, but we also received information in reference to evaluation for our new city manager after giving 6 months of service here with the city. And we have come forth with a recommendation for a raise for our city manager. So at this time, based on evaluation, we will entertain a motion to have approval for a raise for our city manager.
So move.
It has been motioned by Councilwoman Barnes and seconded by Councilwoman Pat Gibson Hyde Moore that we move forward with a raise for our city manager. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Reflect that we have unanimously elected to do a raise for our city manager. If there's no other discussion, and if there are no objections, I move that we are adjourned. No objection, we are adjourned. Meeting number 2 in Santa Cruz.